Hello, everybody. This is Tassos from the Faces of War Pinterest board. Tonight, I begin a series of video clips which I will hopefully be able to streamline into a live communication with you. Live, of course, being one way. The board is, of course, an excellent platform, but it has its limitations. So I thought that these video clips will be more of a bridge, if you like, and will allow me to present to you ideas that underlie posting categories of photos on the board, and also will allow me to discuss some themes that underlie these photos. They will also give me the chance to present to you other information related to the subjects that the photos represent. And the aim is, of course, stimulating interest for the historical narrative. So for tonight, I have chosen 3 books which I recently read and which I found extremely interesting. The very first is The Third Reich at War by Professor Richard Evans, who teaches at the University of Cambridge in England. Professor Evans has produced a monumental book, a book that is based on solid scholarship, and a book that avoids the usual sweeping statements that you find in other volumes on the subject. I particularly admired Evans's ability to command an immense amount of research in a way that never really confuses the reader. The language is fluid and the style is masterful. I have read enough books about the Second World War to last me 3 lifetimes. But if I had, or rather I was forced, to choose 2 or 3 books as the absolute limit about the Second World War, I would certainly put Evans's book in this group. The second book for tonight is entitled I Was Hitler's Pilot. This is a book of memoirs, and it was written by Hans Bauer, who was Hitler's personal pilot. Now, Hitler avoided flying as if flying was the devil, because he was scared to death of airplanes. So when some of his associates in his immediate entourage suggested that he should begin flying in an effort to visit as many places in Germany as possible in the shortest possible time, for reasons of political campaigning, Hitler, of course, refused. But somehow, Hans Bauer was involved. He was invited to assist with the project and convinced Hitler to take a first flight, which was a great success. Beginning that day, Bauer was ordered to become Hitler's chief of aviation, and he was given, of course, a rank in the Luftwaffe. Bauer was already an accomplished aviator. He was professional. He was one of the top pilots in Lufthansa. So his new job included reassuring Hitler about flying every time until Hitler was convinced that with Bauer at the controls, nothing was going to happen, or at least the chances of something happening were reduced mathematically to the absolute minimum. Hitler also began to trust Bauer as his personal friend, and he began to trust him with some of his most intimate thoughts and plans. So Bauer became, in fact, a highly significant witness of history because Hitler would actually talk to him without the usual stress that painted Hitler's relations with his top generals and certainly with most people of his immediate entourage. Bauer was a no-nonsense professional. He avoided getting involved in small politics and he avoided all conflict with the people who surrounded Hitler every day. His calm and his expert flying made him indispensable to Hitler, and Hitler literally trusted Bauer with his life. Bauer was one of the last people to see Hitler in the bunker just before Hitler committed suicide. He pleaded with him to fly out of Berlin with Bauer, but of course, Hitler, who had decided to go down with the last thoughts of the German Wehrmacht, he declined. I Was Hitler's Pilot is a short book. I read it in one day. It is fast-paced and definitely a page-turner, and I would highly recommend it. The final book for tonight is the Waffen-SS, Hitler's Elite Guard at War, 1939 to 1945, by George Stein. This is an older book. It was published in 1966, but nevertheless, it remains an excellent introduction to the subject. Unfortunately, I do not read German, and this fact has not allowed me to take advantage of the wealth of historical studies written in Germany. In fact, the bibliography about the Waffen-SS in German is immense. Very few of these books have been translated into English, unfortunately. So this book provided a concise history of the Waffen-SS from its inception in 1939 to the first years of World War II to the very bitter end in the streets of Berlin. As a reviewer of the book wrote, Stein avoids hysterics, and the subject, of course, is one that is pregnant with, well, hysterics, and it justifiably evokes great anger and rage and very strong feelings in very many people. Stein's account, though, is measured and careful. It is obvious from the very first lines that the author aims at a balanced view of an aspect of the Second World War which is immersed in frightful barbarity, atrocity, and genocide. That is all for tonight. My thanks for watching, and certainly my thanks for following Faces of War. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.